Okay, I've already been butchering some, so you might notice my tray has some things on here already. However, let's talk about a lot of choices that we can have with the meat that we buy. These are bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. Now, chicken thighs are a great choice for cooking because they are a dark meat, so they are going to be a higher fat content than, say, the breast. It also maintains its juiciness. So today I'm going to be prepping these as I prepare to grind meat to make some pot stickers. But I started to realize as I was making thousands of pot stickers that I could grind my own meat and have a more cost-effective product. At the store where I live, ground chicken is $7 a pound. For a pound of ground chicken, $7. I was able to buy a package at my local Costco, a big package, six packets, a total of 10.5 pounds at 99 cents a pound. Now, it's going to be cheaper, obviously, but there's some labor to this. So there's that truth, okay? You kind of pay for labor. But I want to talk about how that you might not use straight away the skin and the bones, but they're not waste. I'm trying to harvest the meat as I grind it for my pot stickers. But the meat itself is not the only valuable thing. I can take off this skin and I save it because I can roast it off later for some chicken skin chicharrones. I also save bones because I make stock. Okay, but first let's talk about just how to get the meat off of the bone. Now, this is not super fancy. I'm trying to protect a big fillet or something like that. I'm just trying to get the meat off of the bone. So I just take my fillet knife, my boning knife, and I just cut it off, and then I just cut off the other end. I roll it a little bit to try and get everything off, right? I'm not going to stress out too much about getting every morsel of meat off of the bone because I like a little meat in my stock, which we'll talk about later on in this video. But you know, this is not like in anatomy class in graduate school where I'm trying to get every single little piece off. I'm not stressed out about that. But I'm just going to put all of my harvested meat, okay, in these chunks, and I put it into this little bucket over here because I'm going to be getting ready to grind, okay? I'm going to keep going with all of those skins and deboning process, and I'm going to save all of those skins for later on for a little snack, whether it be for you or for the doggy. No wasting. And then all these delicious bones. This bone stuff here, this is valuable stuff because this is where a lot of the flavor and collagen that really yields a good stock. Not the chicken broth you get from a can or what you might reconstitute from some bouillon, which are very, very quick and convenient, but they don't have the same unctuousness and body that you can get with a homemade stock. Some of the problem about making stock, though, is it's very time intensive. It takes a long time. You might see how some recipes talk about simmering for hours on the stove, skimming carefully. I'm going to show you a shortcut that leads to a very nice stock. Nothing that's going to win you an award in culinary school, but a great way to get a whole cauldron of stock in 90 minutes. I pre-weighed one of these packets to see, well, how much of my yield am I getting when I'm taking out the bones and the skin, which are not waste. We're going to use them in another project. But the usable part for me for the meat is obviously the meaty part that I'm going to grind and make for some delicious filling for my pot stickers. But I weighed a package, and the package was 1 pound, 9 ounces. After I took out the bones and the skin from that, it was about 15 ounces left. So I lost about half a pound. Okay, I'm not going to be super accurate here, but about half a pound of weight from the meat. So still at 99 cents a pound for bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, yielding the meat only It ended up being about $1.39, which is still cheaper than the boneless, skinless chicken thighs, where I would simply take them out of the package, cut them into chunks, and put them through my grinder. And certainly cheaper than $7 a pound, 1 pound of ground chicken by the butcher at my local market. Here we are at the pressure cooker. A lot of people have this now with the advent of the Instant Pot. A lot of people are saying, well, I use my Instant Pot for, these kind of things, whatever. But Instant Pot is just a pressure cooker that you can use to make so many things in so short a time. Now, I'm going to put all of those bones. Look at all those bones. There's some meaty bits in here, okay? I don't roast the bones on the whole here. I could roast these and get them kind of cooked and brown, and that'll add an extra browniness to your stock if you want that. I don't do that for this application. But all the bones, they just go right in. And this was about 2 packages of those chicken thighs that I had talked about. Chicken thighs in the pot. I also go here into my Tupperware container that lives in my freezer. Inside here are all the odds and ends that I use with cooking. What's in here? Ooh, onion top, onion skins, all the little things. Shiitake mushroom stems. Those are nice umami bombs. Green onion root ends. These are all what a lot of people think is food waste garbage. No way, man. This is an excellent way to get a lot of flavor, a lot of color into your stock without adding extra cost. This is what people would throw away if they didn't know what to do with their things. Now, I'm also going to add in some extra celery. Again, if I was using some celery in a salad or something like that, I'd trim off this business and those ends would go into my Tupperware too. I know that when this Tupperware gets full, it's time to break out the stock pot because it can hold 16 cups of things and it makes me a nice big container of stock. Now, celery in, here are my carrots. I didn't even bother peeling them. Why? Doesn't even matter, okay? I'm going to fill this with water now, and afterwards, this will all cook down, and it'll render all of its goodness. Afterwards, this is a little treat for the dog. Just water straight from the tap, nothing special, okay? The coolest thing about the Instant Pot, it even has a button that says stock, soup, or broth. I don't even have to think about it. It tells the machine the right amount of pressure, the right amount of time. It just happens to be 90 minutes. So instead of all that simmering and skimming and fiddling with it and just taking up space on your stovetop, my Instant Pot does it all for me in 90 minutes. I put it on, okay, click it on, it's thinking, and here we go. Ready? Soup broth. Okay, it's thinking. When it comes up to temperature, I make sure that the vent is closed so it can gain the pressure. See, it's already saying on. It goes on high pressure. When it comes to a boil, the pressure inside will build until it closes the vent, and then it'll start the timer for 90 minutes. 90 minutes to a full pot of stock. So our program has run an hour and a half. Now, after an hour and a half, this is still under pressure. So I vented it and let all the pressure out. The Instapot and other models too have safety mechanisms. So you can't open the pot while it's still under pressure like the old-fashioned ones would, because then the lid would blow off. So there's a safety mechanism where it will not let you open the top while there is still pressure. So the pressure is off, and I've also let it cool, because if I didn't, it would be ripping hot. I can open the thing, okay, and here comes the steam. Woo! This is after an hour of just sitting here. Look how steamy it still is. Okay? So remember, this was made with stuff that people often throw away. Carrot bits, celery tops, onion skins, chicken bones. But if you use them cleverly, you can make something delicious and can be used for a soup or sauces as a base for other things. So here comes the hot. Now I've already prepared a colander over my large Tupperware container. Okay, super hot, be careful, don't burn yourself, and I just strain it all out. Now let's take a look at what's in that stock. If you remember, here's our chicken bones and a little bit of chicken meat. Okay, onion skins. Now this has had all of its life, but that little bit of chicken meat, this nice carrot here, look how soft it is. That carrot, I actually take the time and pick this little remnants of meat off and the carrot, and it gets fed to our dog who thinks that this is the cat's meow. So still hot, I take that colander and I put it back onto here to let that cool so I can pick through it later. But check out that stock. Truly stock, where this is an elixir that has taken all the elements out of those vegetables, those aromatics, and also the bones, where it's got collagen in there, which is going to give it that richness, that body, that mouthfeel that says, now that's a good soup. Now, that entire cauldron yielded me, how much was that thing say? What, about?
Two and a third quarts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost 3 quarts.
Almost 3 quarts, right? 3 quarts of nice stock that I can use as a base for soup or stew or a sauce. Speaking of collagen, I had talked about using the bones to give body or unctuousness to our stock. That's the definition of making a stock. It has to have bones in it. So some of those canned or boxed or even bouillon powders, those are broths that might not even have any chicken bones in them. So you don't have that collagen content. I could have absolutely put these skins into the chicken pot as well for the stock. They would have then been kind of, flabby skins in the leftover part that I skimmed out later, or I filter out later. But these have a lot of collagen in them. If you don't have the time to make your own stock, don't lament, not all is lost. You can get that same chicken broth can, and you just add some extra gelatin to it. Gelatin comes in small packages, but you've already figured out, I cook a lot, I bake a lot, so I have gelatin like so. So let's say you had a quart of canned chicken broth. Add a tablespoon and a half to the stock or to your broth, and then you'll be adding gelatin to it, and that's going to boost your canned chicken stock. That's going to boost your canned chicken broth closer to a stock with that unctuous body with the collagen or the gelatin that you can add. I think that's the end of this video now. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, this is Velocipanda guest starring here on Fortune Cookie 45 LC's channel, The Hot Lead Zone. Remember guys, food is life, so cook like you mean it. See you next time.
Bye for now.